Okay guys, I'm here to give you the highlights of a beta cross trainer. This is a 2022. I talked a good friend of mine into buying one as well. So he bought one 6 months ago or 4 months ago or something. So he's got a 2023. Now, if you want to improve your technical riding, I'm going to highly suggest you go with one of these things. Everybody buys the XCW or the XC, the KTM product, 300. Well, this is a 300 as well, and it's obviously the cross trainer. So I couldn't believe how much better my friend got. He used to struggle with that XCW 300 radically, even though it was lowered and everything else. And, tipping over, struggling in the woods of Tennessee multiple times. We rode Windrock together. We rode in Tennessee where the Trials Training Center is, and he wanted to turn around and was having trouble. Now, granted, we're not, super tall. I'm 5'10", he's 5'7" maybe, so that is a big disadvantage. I mean, 5'10" is kind of average, but, unless you're like 6'1" and bigger, the XCW is a hard bike to fit. His XCW was lowered for him, but it still was just too big a bike for him, in my opinion. So I suggested this thing. These are, I think they're called low boys, or they have the low boy kit on them. So the seat height is a little lower. The overall frame is slightly smaller if you've done your research, and the weight is slightly lower. There's nothing better than getting, your feet down on the ground when you're in really hairy stuff, really hard descents or inclines, and rocky, chunky stuff. It gives you that sense of confidence and security that you can't get from other bikes that are just taller, heavier. And he was at a disadvantage just because he also put a heavier tank on his, a larger tank on his 300, his KTM 300. So he put himself at a lot of disadvantages. And oh my God, the improvement in his riding this past trip. We just got back from, over almost 5,400 miles of going to Moab and back, riding the entire way out, riding Alabama. Actually, we didn't ride these in Alabama, but we rode these at a place called Hidden Falls Adventure Park in Texas, outside of Marble Falls, Texas. A surprise park, which was quite hardcore. So if you want to do some hardcore technical rock climbing and some single track, I'm going to highly recommend that place. Again, it's Hidden Falls Adventure Park outside of Marble Falls, Texas. And then we went into New Mexico. I highly recommend that too, outside of Albuquerque. Some great technical riding in the canyon stuff, mostly sandy canyon ridges and things like that, hardcore climbs and descents, single track. And then we went into Moab, of course, and did slick rock and porcupine and all that stuff. And there's nothing better that tractors up and nothing better that sticks with traction than these cross trainers. And I know people are hung up on the XCW 300s, the KTMs, and I get it if you're a bigger guy and you love ripping rocky trails and going to higher speeds. Yeah, I would go with that bike. This is not a higher speed bike. I mean, once you start ripping, wide open trails, the suspension runs out. It's not as fun. I've gotten beat up following my friends on the higher speed trails. Don't enjoy it, but that's not what I'm after. So again, if you're after the crawl, the technical climbs of some, hardcore Tennessee trails, Hatfield McCoy trails, rock climbing, the maneuvering on the harder parts of slick rock where you're doing hairpin turns and you really need to get a foot down safely. You need that stickiness, that tractor motor that doesn't stall. It's unbelievable what these can climb. These bikes put you at a huge, huge advantage. And for anybody who doesn't give it a try, who likes the technical rocky climbs and the stickiness of the traction, running even the stock tires, great. We did kind of beat it up a little bit in Moab and stuff, but these, running 12 pounds or so, 11, 12 pounds just really sticks to things with confidence. So people, have an issue with, I don't know, some guys I think have an issue with the site, the girl bike, all that good stuff, not quite manly enough for them. But you know what? If you can improve your riding radically and improve your confidence radically, it's worth it. And remember, in my opinion, with all my years of riding different bikes, I've ridden plenty powerful bikes and stuff like that, but it's about traction and it's about finesse. It's not about brute force. And that's what I was trying to get through my friend's head. He was always like, overpowering it and spinning the tire. When you can, finesse it and not spin the tire, you get a lot better control and safety. And as you get older, like we are, we don't need these injuries or don't want these injuries. I mean, nobody does, but we can't afford them because they put us out of action longer. So it's just a way better way to go if you like the technical stuff. You've seen other guys doing their videos on these. It's the truth. These are a blast when it comes to being able to maneuver in the tight spots and climb things you never thought you could climb. It will radically improve your riding in the technical stuff. I do not enjoy it, like I said, in the high speed runs with the chunk. I wish, I was on a WR 250F, a Yamaha KYB suspension or something like that. When I'm on that rough stuff, I wish I could, there's no perfect bike for all conditions, but I'm more about the slow, technical, crazy ascents and descents, rocky, chunky stuff nowadays. It's just a lot of fun in my mind. So if you're considering one of these things, that's what they're for. They do dominate. I don't care what you're riding right now. If you've never ridden one of these and you head for the chunk, the technical, you will see your skills and your confidence improve tenfold. Hope that helps you guys in your decision making, but I'm in love with this thing. I think these are called the Lowboy. I didn't know that until he bought his 4 or 5 months ago, and we learned about that. But I bought this slightly used at a dealer that didn't know anything about them, and it was just set up this way, and it was basically set up perfectly for me. And we didn't really have too many issues with the altitude and the carb. Granted, it got a little duller at altitude, at 5,000 feet. The throttle response was a little duller, but it actually worked out fine. And again, you can't have more fun than this thing in the crazy tight stuff. Take care, guys. Hope that helps. Appreciate it. Likes and subscribes. Hit me up if you have any questions or want to know anything else about these things. Take care. This is like my 1-year review. I've had it a little over a year now. 2 trips to Moab now. Talk to you guys later. Take care.